Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Reselling Rhythms. Let me just remove this real fast, guys. I apologize. We're having some technical difficulties here. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Okay. Anyway, guys, if you're a reseller or interested in becoming a reseller, you're in the right place. Typically, every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern, I have other resellers on in the chat. We discuss reselling, and we discuss how to make you more profitable and a better reseller. Let me just say hello to a few people in the chat. We will say hello to Miss Sharon, my moderator. Say hello to, I think, Michelle is here, also my moderator. Thank you, ladies, for being here and assisting with the show. Randy is in the chat. He's in snowy Pennsylvania. And unfortunately, we are having some technical difficulties. So it's going to be me tonight, folks. So hopefully the signal went out. Had some problems with Randy, and we will get him on again. I've probably done, close to 75 to 80 interviews. Occasionally I have technical difficulties, but we always find a workaround. We tried using Randy's 2 different laptops. We tried using his cell phone. My feeling is probably something that's happening with StreamYard. You guys know I'm from the Philadelphia area, and I listen to a video podcast, I should say. I watch a video podcast from a former Philadelphia Eagle. And he had a similar issue. I don't know what his technical difficulties were, but he had an issue getting his guest on this week. So he basically had to wing it. Well, I'm not a professional athlete, so I don't have a lot to talk about as far as when it comes to athletics and football. So we're going to talk some reselling, and I want to say hello to Wes. Thanks for joining us, Wes. We will definitely have Randy on again. In fact, Randy's in the chat. I was really looking forward to having Randy on, and we will have him on in the future. I guess what we're going to have to do is a couple of test streams to find out what the issue is. StreamYard's using some kind of beta with their microphones and things. I didn't have an issue with it last show I did when I did it with Trent, so I don't know what the problem is, but anyway, there was a problem. So hello, Miss Beth. Thanks for joining us. Randy will not be, Randy's in the chat, but he will not be joining us on the panel tonight. We're having some technical difficulties. So I don't want to really delay it any further. So again, guys, we will definitely have Randy on in the future. I'm going to do one or two test streams with Randy, and we'll probably bring him on at least a half an hour earlier next time to make sure things are working properly. I have a very strong suspicion it was probably on StreamYard's end, because he said he was doing a Zoom meeting earlier and he had access to his microphone and his video. So more than likely it's something to do with StreamYard. Go figure, right? We have glitches on eBay. We have glitches on StreamYard. There's glitches everywhere. So Michelle, Restream is a different service. I do not use Restream. I'm not familiar with it at all. Just to get into a little bit of the YouTube issues, not issues, the YouTube speak, so to speak. I told you guys I purchased a new computer. You can't use any other avenues to bring guests in through StreamYard, Michelle. You can't use Zoom. You can't use Skype. You can't use anything. StreamYard has like a native software they use to bring guests in. So I do know a relatively decent amount about StreamYard. I just could not figure it out for the life of me what the issue was. So we will have Randy on in the future. Just going to have to probably do a couple of test streams to figure out what the issue is. And so anyway, so that's the issue. Apparently there's some kind of issue going on with StreamYard. But at least we can, you and I can chat. Randy is in the chat, so again, he agreed to definitely come on again. And then again, it wasn't Randy's fault, so I'm just letting you guys make aware of what was going on. So technical issues. So basically, what I'm going to do, guys, is kind of revert to the old theme when I didn't have a guest. We're going to talk a little bit about reselling. We're going to open it up to some just general reselling chat, some general discussion. I just want to bring up. I really didn't have a lot of time to go through e-commerce news. I did see a couple things I want to bring up to your attention. So I am familiar with about Restream. Yeah, I don't use Restream, Beth. Eventually, I'm going to be using vMix. The thing with Restream is, and again, I don't want to talk too much about YouTube. The more you guys are here for reselling, but basically what StreamYard is a platform that's in the cloud. That's kind of software that's in the cloud that allows us to broadcast and do live streams and bring guests on. The software, the computer that I bought, and the software I'm buying in the near future allows me to do that as well, and I don't need to use Restream. What Restream does is allow you to broadcast on multiple different platforms. And the software that I have will allow you to do that also. And Restream is a paid program. I think they have a basic. You might be able to bring one guest on. I'm not sure, but I'm not familiar with that at all. And like I said, I'm going to go into not the Restream. I'm going to go into the vMix software. So I'm really going to learn that. So in the meantime, I'm going to just use StreamYard. So if there's an issue next week, then I might have to consider doing Restream. Maybe they have access for like a one guest program. Maybe it's possibly free, or there's some kind of trial version. So anyway, let me get in a little bit into the reselling news, guys, and we'll get to the little bit of chat as far as reselling. Like I said, I just got into it a little bit here, guys. So bear with me. I'm just gonna let me wet my whistle here a little bit. The thing is with live streaming, there's always going to be problems. It's just a matter of when and what type of problems. There's always going to be issues. So today the live streaming bug jumped up and bit me on my rear end. So here we go. I'm going to talk a little bit about eBay. I had talked about in the past about eBay and their shares and how they had some corporate raiders involved. And we had discussed how they had owned PayPal at one point. They sold off PayPal. They had Ticketmaster. Is Ticketmaster? Not Ticketmaster. Another reselling. Michelle, you're my expert here. You'll remember another service where they resell tickets. They had sold that off as well. So anyway, they have different type of corporate investors involved now with buying stocks of eBay. So I'm going to get a little bit into the eBay with you, a little bit about the business of eBay. eBay grew gross merchandise volume 21% in the fourth quarter to $26.6 billion. Year over year, it grew 28% during the same period to $22.9 billion. Let me read that again. eBay grew gross merchandise volume 21% in the fourth quarter to $26.6 billion in the fourth quarter. Year over year, it grew revenue 28% during the same period to $2.9 billion. Excuse me, that's not very well written. That's why I like to read these things and add them before I do them. But as I said, I didn't have that option today. Interesting enough, eBay plowed through the proceeds of the sale of its business units, not back into the company coffers, but to shareholders. Again, guys, I talked about how the eBay has various corporate raiders and corporate shareholders, and they're interested in getting, stock dividends, et cetera, et cetera. Excuse me, guys. My word. Here it is, the StubHub. Michelle, you probably put that in the chat. In February 2020, it sold StubHub for $4.5 billion in cash. And in June, it announced it was selling its E-Classified group for $2.5 billion in cash. And also $540 million in Adventus shares. Okay, apparently that's the company, I believe, that purchased their classified business. Let me just mute myself for 1 second, guys, here. And of course, my allergy is going to act up too as well. Okay, we are back. So again, they're just talking about how eBay did very well with their stocks, and basically they sold several different divisions of the company, plowed that back into the business, and paid dividends to the people that had stockholders, basically. So a lot of numbers here, guys. It really doesn't affect us. What does affect us is the issue still with the post office, USPS. Let me just see what else they have going on here. So anything else that would affect us as resellers. Okay. There's also an article here about problems with the managed payments and how eBay is forcing sellers to get involved in managed payments. Let me read a little bit about that. It says, after forcing sellers to use PayPal almost exclusively, eBay is now bringing the process in-house, but it's painful to watch the company transition sellers to managed payments. I know quite a few of you had issues with managed payment. I'm not all that excited about it. But again, guys, I told you with my health issues, I'm not doing a lot of volume at this point. Again, I talk to you. Try to be relatively upfront with you with what's going on in my life, and I want to bring it up to the fact where I can generate enough income to supplement my income and help me pay some of my, additional source of income, basically, up with my medical bills and my medical expenses and premiums, that kind of thing. It says, while bumps in the road and maybe an occasional sinkhole were to be expected, it's entirely unexpected is the level of secrecy in which eBay is making changes to the point sellers don't know how certain things are supposed to work. The latest issue came to their attention when the seller wrote she was surprised when the customer service rep told her she would no longer be able to pay store, excuse me, was no longer able to pay store PayPal fees using her credit card. I had not heard that. So I use PayPal and I have it tied to a credit card and also to a checking account. So the rep told her that moving forward, all her eBay store fees and charges could not be deducted from her managed payment payout. So there's no longer be an option to pay by PayPal credit card or different bank account. Wow. Okay. Well, that's definitely interesting. Yeah, guys, I apologize. This cough is just not. Okay, we're back. So apparently there's issues then, I guess, with using PayPal. I didn't have issues, and I guess that's probably true. I guess they do technically take your fees out from your bank account, your checking account, because I have everything tied into PayPal, but I know you have to give them your banking information, so I guess that's how they do it. They take it out through your checking account. Now they're saying here there was just an issue. Their heads up, and eBay is moving sellers into phase 2 or group 2. Where they will no longer be able to pay store subscription fees or monthly charges with their credit cards. You must pay cash now, either from your managed payment balance, sales receipts, or if these are not enough, they pull the fees from your checking or original managed payment setup, allowed sellers like their customers to pay store fees via credit card or PayPal. Okay, so I misread this, guy. So basically, what they're saying is that now in phase 2 of managed payments, that you can no longer pay through PayPal your credit card statement. Using a credit card, you have to pay through your checking account. So that is definitely different. That is not good. It says here, eBay store fees are payable by you as follows. If you're a non-managed payment seller, eBay store fees are included in your monthly invoice. If you're a managed payment seller activated prior to October 26, your store subscription began before your activation date. Store subscription fees are included on your monthly invoice. Final value fail. Excuse me, guys. My word. If payments are insufficient, eBay will charge your payment method on file. That's saying debit card or credit card linked to your bank account. Now it says you're a managed payment seller activated on or after October 26th. That was me. Store subscription fees began for after activation date. eBay store fees are retained. Current and future payouts. Payouts are insufficient. They will charge your payment method or file, debit, credit card, and linked bank account. All right, so I don't understand what the issue is here, guys. That's what they've been doing for me. Apparently, that eBay had changed their terms of service, and they never posted the announcement. So I guess that's what the issue is. I know for a while, like I said, I don't do a lot of volume, so they would take out my fees, from my sales, which wasn't an issue. And take out my monthly fees, but apparently that's an issue now. Is that they're not allowing you to pay through a credit card through PayPal. You have to pay through your checking account. So that's definitely an issue that would affect eBay sellers. Just trying to check to see if there's anything else that might apply to us in this e-commerce newsletter, guys, and I'll hop back in the chat. Okay, here's something that may affect some of you. Again, guys, I apologize for I'm a little off kilter here because I'm just jumping into this because of the technical difficulties we had trying to get Randy into the stream. And again, it's not Randy's fault. Apparently, there's an issue with StreamYard. And I'm just reading some of this information for the first time. So, some of you guys do sell trading cards. eBay has launched this much anticipated shipping option for trading cards to provide sellers a way to get tracking information at a far more affordable rate than previously possible. As of November 4th, blah, 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 blah. Reader sent a screenshot today showing the following options when he went to print a shipping label for a recent order. USPS first class package was $3.06. eBay standard envelope was 51 cents. USPS priority mail flight was $7.18, etc., etc. And let me see if it says what the trading card information costs. I don't see it here. Apparently, it says it was letting you know that this appears that the standard envelope shipping option has started today. Touch a screenshot of the eBay label. Looks like 1 ounce is 51 cents, 2 ounces is 71 cents, 3 ounces is 91 cents. So that is quite a bit less expensive than a standard package. So the eBay seller says he's planning to use line as much as possible. He sells tens of thousands. Well, he has tens of thousands of sports cards, and they're well below $20 value, which would be cheaper shipping option as opposed to doing some kind of tracking. So, okay, so that's interesting, guys. So that's something a little bit different. So, let me pop in the chat. Hey, Craig, what's up, buddy? I apologize. Apparently, there was issues with StreamYard today, and we couldn't get Randy onto the show. Randy is just a wealth of knowledge, and so what I'm going to do is work around Randy's schedule. We're going to do a couple of test live streams. I occasionally have issues with using StreamYard, but I've probably done in excess of 100 interviews, and I don't believe I've ever had an issue where I've actually not been able to get somebody on, whether it be through their phone, through a laptop, through a computer. Sometimes we have to hardwire the computer as opposed to using Wi-Fi, or we have to use a cell phone as opposed to using, hardwire Wi-Fi. For some reason, we couldn't get it to work, and it's definitely not Randy's fault. He had a Zoom call earlier today, and there's apparently issues with StreamYard. So I'm kind of doing this with again, I'm having a brain freeze. Michelle, I need you for all my trivia questions. Is it a Wing and a Prayer, the John Bon Jovi song? Doing this on a Wing and a Prayer? Believe me, I won't sing, especially since my allergies are bad. I'm coughing like crazy. So Michelle, you probably even know the lyrics today. Like I said, you'll always be my phone a friend if I ever need somebody, if I go on any of these shows. So that's basically it, guys. I'm going to bring up in the chat, see what's going on with you guys as far as your sales. I know things have been slow. I don't remember if I brought this up at my last chat. I don't believe I did. Apparently there's still, I'm sure I bring it up, USPS shipping issues all the time, but apparently there's still a ton of issues with the USPS. To relay a personal story, I had an issue with my tax return. Apparently I didn't include proper documentation on one of the items I had to include with my previous tax return. And when I got the notice, I'm thinking, why am I getting my tax return? Why don't I get my $600 stimulus check? Well, the IRS was slow in getting back to me, so basically they needed another form. I had filed electronically. I think I'd done it once or twice before I filed electronically, but I wasn't sure how it works or whatever. And I forgot to include one of my documents for my. I have a small, some kind of investment. I had to pay tax on that. And I forgot to include that. So anyway, so that was an issue with that. But that took forever to get to them. And then I sent it back before Christmas, and I still haven't heard back from them. So apparently, there's a lot of issues with the U.S. Post Office still. I'm hearing stories like again, I'm not in Philadelphia, I'm in southern New Jersey, but I had heard at one point that the Philadelphia region was operating at like 87% or something capacity, or whatever term they use, and now they're down to like 63%. So that's almost a 40% reduction in service. Another example, I received I told you guys I'm looking for a used SUV, a relatively newer used SUV, but a used one. And I received a card from my local dealer who I had been getting service from, a Honda dealer, and that was supposed to get to me by the end of right after Christmas. Well, I got it like the end of last week, so it was literally over a month late for a postcard. So, what'd you say, Michelle? Let me put your post up here about your stimulus check. You did get your stimulus check, okay. 24 days ago, after there was issues, your brothers didn't get his at all. Yeah, well, see, my issue again is that I told you I had a problem with the tax return, and I did file it, and then so in other words, as far as they know, they didn't receive my tax return, even though they did. And when I did it, I was even goofy enough that I included was they had mailed me the letter, like actually the envelope that I mailed it in. So I sent that with a postage date. I copied everything on my printer, my copier on my printer. And I sent that back with the documentation, signed it, and sent it back. And so 42%, Randy. Thank you. So I was giving them more credit than they deserve. You didn't get a stimulus check either. Yeah, I mean, every little bit helps. I did tell you guys. Again, it's basically because I'm kind of doing the John Bon Jovi song, a wing and a prayer here, because we had issues with StreamYard and the getting connected with Randy. And again, we definitely will have Randy on again. Randy's in the chat, and guys, he's just a wealth of information. I really enjoyed the chats I've had with Randy, and we just talk about business, and just things just come out. And I'm gonna share one of his. Since Randy's not here, I'll share one of the things he said. I think I might have shared with you guys. I was in retail for a while, and when I was going to, I know I shared this, and some of you have been following me for a while, some of you have not. But growing up, my father had Parkinson's disease, like Michael J. Fox, like the early onset. So, and both my parents were school teachers. My sister's a school teacher. So that's kind of why I do this, because I kind of have like the teaching gene in my blood, and I was always taught, the golden rule. Treat others as you'd like to be treated. And I like to pay things forward. And I've been involved in reselling for probably about 4 years. Most of you probably know me that I'm a moderator on Casey the Rockstar Flippers channel. So I've learned quite a bit from Casey over the years. I've learned quite a bit from other resellers. A lot of my issues are that I don't do enough volume because I don't produce enough listings. I always tell you guys, you have to list. You have to feed the beast. You have to feed Cassini. If you're not listing, if you're not, when your listings are ending, you're not putting them down and selling similar, or adjusting your prices, adjusting your pictures, adjusting your description, you're not going to make sales. I mean, if you have like very unique items, yes, you're going to make sales. But if you're part of the the masses, and you're selling used clothing, unless you list on a regular basis and you have good prices and good items, like Craig is in the chat. We talked about how do you increase your sales, and Craig says have good items at good prices. Well, that is true. I mean, that's a big part of it. But anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. Okay. So what happened was I had worked retail. When I was wanting to go to, I had to go to local college. I had to commute because I had to help take care of my father. So I went to a local college, and I got my BA. My parents helped me, and they actually purchased me a new car as a thank you for not going away to college, because they knew I would miss that. Obviously everybody looks forward to going away to college, but it is what it is. So I worked retail. I worked in the wine and liquor business for quite a few years, and then I was in the wholesale end of it in sales. And I worked grocery for a while as well at a local supermarket chain. One of the larger chains that's owned by was owned by Albertsons now. Back then it didn't. So I know a little bit about the grocery chain, but I didn't know much about the back office. So Randy had shared with me, I should say. He probably would share with you if he comes on the show. But it was kind of cool because back in the day, I thought about dabbling in stocks and things, and I never really did. I mean, I had a 401k with my employer. I had mutual funds for a little short period of time, and some of these like cigarette stocks, some of these tobacco stocks, I thought it wasn't I think obviously what's come out now with cigarettes being so bad for you and all the people that get ill from cigarettes, it's a lot different today than it was back in the excuse me, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And back in the 60s, you could even actually like be on a TV show and show you smoking a cigarette, and they had cigarette commercials on the radio, cigarette commercials on TV. And I got a tickle again, guys. I apologize. Let me get another sip of water. So anyway, I was talking with Randy, and we were talking about just grocery stores. And when I didn't realize, again, Randy, I'm probably going to quote the wrong percentage here because, I got the percentage screwed up on the Postal Service. But I think Randy said it's upwards of 75% of the grocery stores' retail items are controlled by two of the largest distributors. We've all heard of Procter & Gamble. And we probably, most of us heard about R.J. Reynolds. But what Randy alluded to was that R.J. Reynolds owns Kraft, and I guess that they own quite a few other brands. But I thought that was really unusual that they control upwards of 75%. I'm sure you can put it in the chat. But you want to resell a bit? What can you learn? Well, Kelly, typically I have a reselling guest every Wednesday. Discussing a little more personal here because what happens is with live streaming, I don't know if you ever live stream, but there's occasionally issues, and my guest, who's super knowledgeable, has a large reselling business, and he does the wholesale business as well. I want him to get involved in that. He and I had like over an hour and a half worth of pre-chat, talking about the show and what we're going to discuss. And there's a problem with the software, it's cloud-based that runs the program, and apparently there's an issue, and I wasn't able to connect him into my broadcast. So we will definitely have him on again. I have a ton, Kelly. I have a ton of videos. I have loops, playlist loops. Some great resellers on there with great information. Trent was on last week. The Thrifty Pickers, some really good information, like basic stuff. Where we discussed reselling. I have Casey the Rockstar Flipper. I have Katie and Vicky. I have an interview where I was with Rake and Profit. I did an interview at eBay Open. I have Unilever as well, right, Randy? I have interviews from eBay Open, several interviews. I have an interview with Casey the Rockstar Flipper, where unfortunately the video was not great, but the information is great. We talked about eBay Open. I have playlists, so again, if you want to learn about reselling, I have a ton of information from a ton of different resellers. Some really high-end resellers. I had Yvonne Thrifty Rich on the channel. I've had Beth, who's in the chat, on the channel. I'm going to have Sharon, who's in the channel. Sharon's going to come on. We're going to talk about Facebook Marketplace and the new Facebook Marketplace. How Facebook Marketplace now is basically an e-commerce site which is doing a lot of shipping. You basically, Facebook Market, again, I'm probably butchering this a little bit, Sharon, I apologize. But back in the day when Facebook Marketplace first started, everybody thought of it as this platform where you would list something and then somebody would say, okay, I'll buy that. They would haggle with you a little bit about as far as the price. And then you would, meet them in a parking lot somewhere and you would exchange money and change the product, whatever. But now, from my understanding, is quite a bit of it is through shipping. You list the product like you would on eBay or you would on Mercari or whatever. You take pictures, you do a description, and then the customer pays for shipping. So that is really interesting. And also Sharon, and I think Sharon, again, I was having issues with the technical difficulties. I think we said, was it the 17th, Sharon? Again, I don't have the calendar in front of me. Get into it more when you're live, right? I think we said the 17th. We'll just check the day. The 3rd, yeah, it'd be 17th, right? It'd be 17th, Wednesday the 17th. So we're going to have Sharon on. Excuse me. Sharon is starting a e-commerce blog as well. I'm sorry, a podcast, Sharon. I apologize. My brain is not working tonight for some reason. But yeah, so Sharon's starting that as well. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But Sharon has a really neat business model. Sharon has her own business, in addition to reselling. And she's really geared up for reselling business. She does, she purchases wholesale. She purchases from yard sales and thrift stores and, garage sales. And she does very well. And of course, I wasn't used to. Michelle was asking a question, Kelly. What do you have access to sell? That's one of the things, like Reselling 101 is, and every channel will tell you this. I'm not the holy grail. I'm not telling you something that other resellers wouldn't tell you. But you always, like Michelle said, you always want to look around your home. When Trent was on last week, again, I really suggest you watch that video. It was really a lot of good information, just basic information. But what you want to do, you want to look around your house. Maybe have some old appliances, or maybe I wouldn't probably start out with appliances. Maybe have some old clothes that you don't use. Maybe you lost some weight or gained some weight, or you have children and they outgrew their clothing. Or you have, old games or old video games or anything that you have around the house that you're not using. Take advantage of it and resell it. And then that's what's nice about that is it's free. Excuse me. You have vintage things and clothing. Oh, You definitely want to watch when Sharon here. Sharon is really, really good with vintage items. Again, I don't want to steal her thunder, but she is very, very good with vintage items. We're going to talk a lot about vintage items, and she sells some things that are kind of like, she sold a lot of vintage things in general. And Sharon is kind of like me. She kind of got a little frustrated with clothing. She sells a lot of hard goods. There you go. There she is. Vintage is her thing. It's her thing. Yeah, absolutely. So definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click on the little bell. We will have Randy on. I'm going to try to have somebody on next Wednesday. And apparently I have to do a test to see what's going on with StreamYard. I don't know if it's just a temporary thing that I couldn't bring a guest on. Because I've never had, I was going to say never had issues. I typically don't have issues. Usually I bring people on at least 20 minutes prior to the show. We check for, make sure the microphone's working, the video's working, the lighting's proper. Make sure I can hear them properly. Like Randy and I have had over an hour's worth of discussion on what we're going to talk about. So we did a lot of talking about what we wanted to talk about, and then the technical difficulties happened. So again, I have a ton of videos, some really neat stuff. Again, I basically learned. Hey, Shasha, thanks for joining us. Again, I'm refreshing a little bit of Shasha. I was supposed to have Randy on tonight, but we had some technical difficulties. We're going to definitely reschedule Randy. I think it was something to do with StreamYard. So Randy and I are going to do probably a couple of test issues, test streams. I tried to actually do a private test stream with him, and that wouldn't work either. So, I mean, I tried everything short of shutting down my computer, and I'm 99% certain it has something to do with StreamYard, because I've never had issues where I couldn't bring a guest on before. Sometimes the feed was bad. I could bring them on through their phone, or I could bring them on through their laptop, or a different device, or hardwire, or Wi-Fi. I couldn't bring Randy. I mean, I brought him on, but I couldn't get his sound. Yes, your sub. How much can you make while on a disability? I get off, and that's something I don't want to. I should say I don't want to discuss it. I always tell people, and I get this question occasionally, and I tell people I don't want to give you bad information. I'm on a Social Security disability pension. It's in the middle range, middle to high range for disability. Again, I'm not an expert on disability. It's based on your earnings, your lifetime earnings, and I forget, it might be, again, I don't want to give you bad information. I think it's based on your last 10 years, or maybe 20 years. But what happened with me was I had earned a decent amount of money for quite some time, and then I ended up losing my job, and I had to go back into retail, and we all know, or since we all know, but typically retail doesn't pay very well. So I make a decent amount of money, nowhere near a living wage. I tell people contact Social Security Administration. I don't even have to contact them directly. Again, I think it was like $12,000. I don't want to give you bad information, though. When people ask tax information, I always say consult an accountant or consult a CPA. I don't want to give you bad information. Say, oh, Adam said this, because believe me, I'm not an expert. Again, from $1, you have to report your income. Again, I have a lot of expenses. I mean, and I'm kind of combining my business model. I'm kind of combining YouTube with reselling. Again, I'm discussing reselling. I'm discussing YouTube here because I couldn't have Randy come on today, so I'm discussing a little bit about YouTube. But give an example. I had to buy a new computer. So technically, that is for YouTube, and I'm probably going to use it some for reselling, so I can write that cost of the computer off. Well, the computer alone was $1,500. Because to stream properly, I couldn't stream properly with a regular camera on my laptop. It wasn't strong enough, so I had to buy a really good, gaming type computer, not a laptop computer. I had to buy a monitor. I bought a camera. I bought a lens. I bought equipment. I bought inventory for my business. I bought printers. I bought shipping supplies. There's a cost of goods. I'm paying eBay fees. All that stuff is a write-off. So again, I would consult with your the IRS, and not the IRS, the Social Security Administration. I'm pretty sure they have that on their website. Sometimes it's difficult to navigate. And again, I'm kind of referring to some things because we'll just have a general chat here because I don't could get Randy on today. But I'll give you a perfect example. I consider him a friend of mine. I became friendly with him through YouTube. I watch a lot of. I used to watch a ton of reselling videos. Now I watch a few. I watch several resellers I watch on a regular basis. Obviously, I watch Casey the Rockstar Flipper. Kelly, if you're not subscribed to Casey, definitely consider subscribing to Casey. Casey has a live stream every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So I will be there tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, moderating for Casey. So he's on every Thursday. Casey has a ton of information, has a ton of videos, and quite a bit of what I've learned, quite a few of the other people I've learned is through Casey. Now, everybody, I'll give an example as far as like with YouTube. They say, sell things that you're passionate about. So you see you have a lot of vintage things. So maybe you're passionate about vintage things. So it makes it easier to sell or to resell when you're passionate about something. That's why I did reselling for YouTube. I mean, I like sports, but I'm not crazy about sports. Obviously I like to eat, but I have health issues now and I can't eat what I normally could eat. So I'm thinking, yeah, I really like this YouTube and I really want to help people. And what do I know about? Well, I kind of sort of know about reselling. I've been following it for a while. I've been to eBay, a couple of eBay opens. I've been following Casey for quite some time. I followed Craigslist Hunter. Todd, the Thrifty Hustler, followed Todd back in the day. Katie and Vicky, Rake and Profit, Rally Roots. And again, I probably shouldn't say this, Kelly, but I want to help you. I have all these different channels on the bottom of my screen. I have recommended channels. So I have Casey down in the Rockstar Flipper. I have Rally Roots on there. I have Katie and Vicky. And I also have Steve, Rake, and Profit down there. So just watching Casey's videos, Rake and Profit's videos, Katie and Vicky's videos, and my videos, I think you'll learn a lot about reselling. I'm not saying I'm not Katie. I'm not saying I'm Katie and Vicky. I'm not saying I'm, Rally Roots, or I'm not saying I'm Rockstar Flipper. But again, I have a general knowledge. I've been in sales for 30 plus years. I think I'm relatively intelligent. I've learned quite a bit about reselling. But again, sell things that you're passionate about it. There's an old saying, if you do something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life again. So if you love, vintage things, I mean, I know Sharon loves vintage things, and it makes it easier for her to bang out her listings because she likes selling vintage things. She likes hard goods. I might speaking out of school a little bit, but I know, like me, she wasn't really crazy about selling clothing, so it's probably more difficult for her to list clothing than it is to list hard goods. And she really likes vintage things, so she's interested in it. So when she's out sourcing, or we say sourcing, which is basically out buying things to resell, she likes vintage things. So it's fun for her to go out on that treasure hunt looking for vintage things. And then when it sells, it's great. I forget who it was. Somebody posted. I have a lot of Facebook friends that are resellers, and I forget who posted it in their feed today. But they said, "Oh, it was Beth. It was Beth Reseller Rowboat." She said, "Isn't it great when you wake up in the morning, you have a sale?" So again, you put in all that work, and then sometimes you sell things at night. Now I don't sleep very well, so I probably would have heard the cha-ching. But I mean, that's what's nice about reselling. That platform up is 24/7. So, when I might go to bed at, midnight here, and it's 9 p.m. on the West Coast. And for some reason, I sell a lot of products in Texas and California. I don't know why. I sell a lot of women's jeans, so maybe that's why. I don't know why there'd be, I guess just because of the sheer volume of people living in California and Texas. But I don't sell a lot in New York, so I don't understand. I sell very little in New York. So New York's a big city. I sell very little in the Philadelphia region. The Philadelphia region is very big. I probably sell 70% of my items to either to Texas or to California. So I don't understand why, but that's just the way it is. So I wanted to bring up a little bit of that chat, guys. I just curious how you guys are doing with reselling. Are you still having issues with USPS shipping? what has been your recourse? Have you reached out to eBay, the customer service, and asked them about that? I mean, my understanding is they're not being very helpful when it comes to when you're refunding a customer for a late shipment, and then they basically eBay says, well, it's a late shipment, you have to refund the customer. Well, the problem is if that customer receives the product, no fault to your own, you shipped it through USPS, and you refunded that money, is the customer going to be honest enough to say to you, Adam, I finally did receive that product. I don't need two of them. What would you like me to do? Would you like me to send it back? Or, I don't know how many honest people there are out in this world. I would personally do it, but I don't know how many people are out there doing it. Let me see what Michelle has to say here. Poshmark is a good platform for clothing. Yeah, Michelle, the only thing, again, I'm not a Poshmark seller, so I don't want to speak out of school, but my only understanding with Poshmark, and again, you have to feed the beast, so to speak. You have to, keep listing. And Michelle, do you share at all on Poshmark? My understanding is if you don't share your closet on a regular basis, it affects your sales. So, and again, eventually, Kelly, I would say learn one platform, whether it be like Michelle's recommending Poshmark or learning eBay or learning Mercari. Learn one platform first, get your feet wet, learn about shipping, learn about listing, and then you maybe want to add another one. Maybe you want to do eBay, and you want to add Poshmark. You want to start with Poshmark and add eBay, and Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. But start out with one. Learn one first. I would stay away from Amazon if you can in the beginning, especially because it can be very complicated, and Amazon is the least forgiving of any of the platforms. So guys, I'm just curious, have your sales been as far as, have they picked up at all? They kind of flat? Are you still having issues with your shipping? There's still been, I know a lot of resellers are still complaining about shipping. I talked to you about that postcard that I was supposed to receive by Christmas, and I received it at the end of January. Basically what it was, and I got kind of sidetracked. Basically, they're going to give me a $25 American Express gift card to test drive a Honda. Which I'm not crazy about test driving a Honda with what's going on in the world, but I don't know if the salesperson has to drive with me. I guess he does. I mean, back in the day, they would sit in the passenger seat and you would drive. So I wouldn't want them in the same seat. I guess if you open up all the windows and put the heat on, this time of year, maybe it'll be all right. But yeah, so anyway, so I got the postcard a month after the promotion had ended. It is what it is. So, what are you saying here, Michelle? You haven't shared in 2 years. Okay. Are your sales doing okay, Michelle? Or are you doing okay on Poshmark? I mean, I'm assuming you're cross-posting, right? That was the other thing when I was going to bring Randy on. That was one of the topics I wanted to talk about, cross-posting. Everyone has different philosophies about cross-posting, and some cross-posting softwares are better than others. And we talked about Vendoo, we talked about List Perfectly, and my understanding, or I should say my belief, not my understanding. If you're doing any kind of decent kind of volume, if you're up to the 500 or 600 item store, I would say definitely want to consider cross-posting. But again, get your feet wet, learn one platform, then maybe add another platform, and then add another platform, etc. Right, the USPS was closed down for the past 2 days, so that's why I didn't see footprints in my snow, Randy. But you probably got a lot more snow than I did. We got upwards of a foot, but we had a lot of sleet, freezing rain, so I guess it kind of tramples it down a little bit. So I'm guessing we probably had between 9 to 12 inches of snow, and then again, so we're expecting more on Sunday. So I'm probably going to go out Friday or Saturday. I don't want to put it out now, like the ice melt. So if I put the ice melt out now, all the snow is going to melt. It's going to wash away the ice melt. They're going to have to reapply it before this other storm comes up. What's Michelle saying here? You're selling home goods. You've had a few sales, nothing to brag about. You did best on Etsy last month. Okay. Michelle, what kind of items? Again, I don't want you you give us your holy grail, but what kind of items are you selling on Etsy? Are you selling like handmade things? Are you selling like crochet things or knitted things like sweaters and that kind of thing? Hey T, nice to see you. Thanks for being here. We're going to basically tell you, T, we're going to have, I don't know if you saw my heading, we're supposed to have Randy on, who's in the chat. I believe you guys used StreamYard. Have you had any issues with StreamYard, T? For some reason, I could not get Randy on for the life of me. I've tried everything. I had him try his phone. I had him try his 2 different laptops. I checked my adjustments on my settings on my microphones, because apparently you can adjust your outsourced microphones. I tried a test stream. I couldn't. Everything I did didn't work. So I know. I believe you guys still use. I believe you still use Streamer. Or do you use Restream? You having any issues? Okay. Randy said he did Zoom today, so I'm assuming it was on my end, not my end, on StreamYard's end. So anyway, we'll definitely have Randy on again. Really interesting person who's in the chat. I'm paying a lot of compliments, Randy, but they're well deserved. So we're definitely going to have Randy on again, and we're going to have Sharon on. So Sharon's going to be on Wednesday the 17th. That's in 2 weeks. I think what I don't know what Randy's schedule is like. We had discussed either this Wednesday or next Wednesday. So depending upon Randy's schedule, maybe he and I can get together and do a couple of test streams and try to figure out what's going on. I think I'm going to contact the StreamYard directly. I don't know if they'll help me with customer support, because as I told you guys earlier, I had the free version. I want to go to vMix, which is a paid software, because basically with StreamYard, your bandwidth is kind of downgraded as far as your picture. And I wanted to use a camera, and I want to have some overlays and different things I want to use to make my production a little bit better. So what are you saying here, T? Are you Zoom today? Okay. His camera setting might be the issue. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, T, because he was using his laptop. What got me was he was using his laptop camera, which is fine. It is what it is. And then he was using that also for the microphone. And then he tried another laptop, and we still couldn't get the sound to work. And then he used this phone, which doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why the phone wouldn't work. I could see if the microphone didn't work on the laptop camera for some reason, but it's built into the phone, and I don't know. Like I was telling the chat, I've probably done over 100 live streams. I've done 100, probably, over 100 live streams, definitely, probably at least 80 interviews. So I don't understand what the issue was, but that definitely was an issue. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain freeze here. Excuse me, a little cough here. Kelly, just consider as well, T is here, auctions for you. What I would suggest to you first, being a newer reseller, is to sell things that you have access to in your home. I don't know where you live, if you still have yard sales and garage sales, et cetera, with the weather. Obviously, we don't have them, but you can check out T's Auctions for You channel. She does, they do reseller bundles. And then also Donatella Bodolino, who has been in my chat before and been on my show. Both T and Donatella have been in the chat before. T, I would invite you. I hope you don't feel offended. I would invite you to come on the channel whenever you want. But I know between you and Donatella, you're doing live streams like 6 days a week. So I would love to have you on to discuss reselling. But I know you and Donatella are just do you probably even do more than 6 live streams. I think sometimes you guys do 2 live streams a day. So that's an option that you might want to consider checking out. Auctions for You, it's in the chat. Again, they do reseller bundles, and also Donatella Bodolino does reseller bundles. Just search for that in your YouTube search bar. So again, that's an option for you to research as far as if you need to source things. If you have trouble sourcing locally, they will ship them out to you. So that's an option. So. Anyway, guys, just want to check with you guys to see as far as any other reselling questions you may have. Again, I don't purport to be an expert. Relatively intelligent. Let me bring this up to a little side note, since we're not doing. Let's see here. 7 sometimes. We went on twice yesterday, but I said no live today. I needed a break. Absolutely. What do you call it? God, I can't think today. God almighty, I can't even think today. I was lurking. That's what I was looking for. I was lurking in your live stream the other day. I think yeah, it was. I don't know if it was your live stream or you were on the screen. You were selling, I think, Matchbox cars. If I saw it properly, T. And I popped in. It's like I think you were like 60. Was it 60 Matchbox cars you were selling? I think it was 60 Matchbook cars, and what they sell? They sold for $40 some, I believe. So I do lurk in your chats occasionally, but I have so much. We're gonna call them cash piles. We're not calling them death piles. I need to get things listed. So I'm not doing a lot of buying on auctions at this point, but I do like to reconnect with my friends. And again, so guys, if you're interested in trying to find reseller bundles, you can check out T's Auctions for You or Donatello Bodolino. So we're gonna bring it real quickly. Who was it? Oh, I know Valerie, Hickory Springs. I know. I think she's a big Tampa Bay fan, because I know she lived in Florida for a while. So for you sports fans, I don't think I have to worry about saying the word Super Bowl. I know on the radio and TV they can't say it if they're not paid by they're not officially sponsored or whatever. So we have Tampa Bay with Tom Brady, who's already won 6 Super Bowls. And I'm a little conflicted because they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's funny, Kansas City, they're a very good team. They're the best quarterback, in my opinion, in the league right now. You have Tom Brady, who, in my opinion, is probably the second best quarterback in the history of the league. I go all the way back to Joe Montana. But Andy Reid is the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, the American Football League team. For a while there, Andy Reid and myself looked quite a bit alike. As I got older, we don't look quite the same. But I would say when I was in my late 40s, early 50s, Andy Reid and I were almost like brothers from another mother. So I used to get that, you look a lot like Andy Reid. It's like, yeah, I do, don't I? So I'm kind of conflicted because Andy Reid was a coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. And then, and also the coach for the Bruce Arians, the coach for the Tampa Bay Bucks, was a coach for the local college team here at Temple back in the day. I think I'm going back to like probably the mid 80s. So again, that was like our local football team, because I went to Rutgers, but Rutgers was in New Brunswick. The football team, we didn't have a football team here in South Jersey. They were up in New Brunswick. So I was basically was a Temple fan. So I'm kind of rooting for Temple and Bruce Arians, and Andy Reid is from Kansas City. So, and I'm not a big fan of the Patriots, but it's what it is. So you picked up 4 storage units from a collector. Wow. Okay, so T's going to have a lot of inventory to sell. Wow, 5 storage units. See, how is the since I have you on here, and guys, we'll try to keep it around an hour. I know your time is valuable. I really appreciate you being here. T, how has storage auctions been? I mean, I don't want to bother you because I know you guys are so super busy. Maybe you can reach out to me. I mean, I think I have you. I know I definitely have you. I know I have Donatello on Facebook. I think I have you on Facebook. So, if you guys have time, one of you, definitely you, if you like to come on, you can talk about storage auctions. I know Donatello's still doing storage auctions. What is the issue with storage auctions now? I know they're again, I don't like to mention the word, even though I'm not monetized. I'm not supposed to mention the virus word. So, how have the prices been? I know with the liquidation lots have been a lot more money than they typically are, because there's so much competition for the loads. I mean, have storage auctions been relatively competitive, or they've been reasonable? I mean, how have they been? I'm just curious because I talk about Casey all the time, and back in the day when Casey moved down to Florida, he got involved in storage auctions, and it got so crazy because it was on the storage auctions on TV. You didn't really bid on them, okay? He advertised in Facebook Marketplace, okay. So you just what do you have, like a flat fee for that you wanted for him, T, and you just negotiated a deal and you bought all 5? That's interesting. That is really interesting. So yeah, I never got, see again, guys, and again, I hate to come back to it, but again, you have to, I talk about all the time on this channel that the only thing that is permanent is change. And you have to make the best of your abilities. So, and again, I talk a lot about my personal because I want to share with you guys. I consider you guys friends. I was out shoveling snow. So like I said, we had roughly a foot of snow. So I have health issues. I'll be honest with you. I don't have the money to pay somebody to shovel my drive. So I live in a row house. I have to shovel the front steps. I have to shovel the front, the front sidewalk because that's the ordinance. You have to do that, which I would do anyway because it's the right thing to do. And then I have to dig out my car. But the problem with my driveway is I'm at the very end of the row house, at the very end of the strip, and we have a common drive, and they plow all the snow behind my house. So I have to dig that out. So what I had to do was I had to take breaks. So I'm out there, I'll clean off my car a little bit, and I'll sit down. I'm gonna take a couple of deep breaths, and then I'll shovel some more, and I'll take a break. And when I say break, I didn't go inside because I said, well, if I just go inside, I'm done. So what normally would probably take me a half an hour took me upwards of an hour and 10 minutes. But it is what it is. But what I'm saying, the reason I got kind of sidetracked was I was talking about storage auctions. I always want to get involved in purchasing storage auctions, storage units, I should say. But I don't have the physical wherewithal to unload the big one. So I think I might just do, when this whole virus thing breaks, I might do one or two small ones for content. I know back in the day, Wade Ventures was talking about them, and he said you could go on his channel and talk about them. But it's interesting. I mean, I've always been interested in it. I just don't have the physical wherewithal. And the problem is if you have to rent a U-Haul or you have to pay somebody to help you, typically there's not a lot of profit involved. So anyway, my plans are to have Randy on next week if I could figure out what the snafu is. So that's an option. And for you guys, hopefully you'll be here next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then I'm going to have Sharon on the following Wednesday, the 17th. And again, Sharon is my Facebook Marketplace expert and one of my shipping experts. So if you want to see what Sharon does as far as her shipping, how she does things, and again, everybody does things differently, and maybe you'll pick up some tips and tricks from Sharon. I definitely want to learn about Facebook Marketplace because I think that's a great opportunity, and myself included, I think a lot of us are missing the opportunity to sell on Facebook Marketplace. A couple quick things, guys. Again, I talk about all the different things. I'm trying to up my level, my game, so to speak, on YouTube, and I do this because I like reselling and I like helping people. But again, there's cost involved, and I told you I had to buy a PC. I got to buy a monitor. I got to have the camera, et cetera, et cetera. So trying something a little different. It's called Buy Me a Cup of Coffee. It's in my description. So, I'm not an e-bagger, but if you like the content and you want to buy Adam a cup of coffee, there's a link in there. And you don't literally have to buy me a cup of coffee, but there's a thing in there where you can make a donation to help me support the channel. So if you like the content, and I'd appreciate it. We have Wawas up here, so I guess I can use that money to buy a Wawa coffee and with my almond milk. So anyway, guys, again, we should hopefully have Randy on next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we'll have Sharon on the following Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing and hitting the all notification bell, and then clicking on the thumbs up before you leave. Okay, guys, appreciate y'all being here, and we shall see you next Wednesday. Thanks all. Have a great week. And if you watch the Super Bowl, have a great time. Bye now.